And howdy, everybody. Welcome to the word number 232. 232, it's the same forwards and backwards. Hello, Glenna. How are you today?
Just peachy.
Same as you were yesterday and the day before? Okay.
My clothes are walking around by themselves now.
I know the feeling. So, everybody, we are continuing on in Jubilees. If you want to read online, you can go to pseudepigrapha.com/Jubilees. And we are reading in chapters 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. I know, amazing. Let's go ahead and pray in, though, before we get started with the reading. And Father, thank you very much for all the blessings you've been giving everybody that we're associated with. Thank you very much for that. We would ask you to continue that. Give your spirit of knowledge and discernment to everybody here now with us today and in the future. And also, just thank you for the quick answers to prayers, for praying for people's health. We know that you are the true physician. Thank you. It's a blessing, and I hope it serves as a very mighty and true witness of your love and care, your guidance. Thank you, Father. We love you in Jesus Yeshua's name. Amen. Did you want to go first and read 3 chapters? I'm just kidding. I'll do it. Yeah. Okay, so Jubilees. Oh, wait, I got to share it. Chapter 16. Chapter 16, right there. And on the new moon of the 4th month, we appeared unto Abraham at the oak of Mamre, and we talked with him, and we announced to him that a son would be given to him by Sarah, his wife. And Sarah laughed, for she heard that we had spoken these words with Abraham, and we admonished her. And she became afraid and denied that she had laughed on account of the words. And we told her the name of her son, as his name is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets, Isaac. And that when we returned to her at a set time, she would have conceived a son. And in this month, the Lord executed his judgments on Sodom and Gomorrah and Zeboim, and all the region of the Jordan, and he burned them with fire and brimstone, and destroyed them until this day. Even as, lo, I have declared unto thee all their works, that they are wicked and sinners exceedingly, and that they defile themselves and commit fornication in their flesh, and work uncleanness on the earth. And in like manner, God will execute judgment on the places where they have done according to the uncleanness of the Sodomites, like unto the judgment of Sodom. But Lot we saved, for God remembered Abraham and sent him out from the midst of the overthrow. And he and his daughters committed sin upon the earth, such as had not been on earth since the days of Adam till this time. For the man lay with his daughters. And behold, it was commanded and engraven concerning all his seed on the heavenly tablets to remove them and root them out, and to execute judgment upon them like the judgment of Sodom, and to leave no seed of the man on earth on the day of condemnation. And in this month, Abraham moved from Hebron and departed and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur in the mountains of Gerar. And in the middle of the 5th month, he moved from thence and dwelt at the well of the oath. And in the middle of the 6th month, the Lord visited Sarah and did unto her as he had spoken, and she conceived. And she bare a son in the 3rd month. And in the middle of the month, at the time of which the Lord had spoken to Abraham on the festival of the first fruits of the harvest, Isaac was born. And Abraham circumcised his son on the 8th day. And he was the first that was circumcised according to the covenant which is ordained forever. And in the 6th year of the 4th week, we came to Abraham to the well of the oath, and we appeared unto him, as we had told Sarah that we should return to her, and she would have conceived a son. And we returned in the 7th month and found Sarah with child before us. And we blessed him, and we announced to him all the things which had been decreed concerning him, that he should not die till he beget 6 sons more, and should see them before he died, but that in Isaac should his name and seed be called, and that all the seed of his sons should be Gentiles and be reckoned with Gentiles. But from the sons of Isaac, one should become a holy seed and should not be reckoned among the Gentiles. For he should become the portion of the Most High, and all his seed had fallen into the possession of God, that it should be unto the Lord a people for his possession above all nations, and that it should become a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. And we went our way, and we announced to Sarah that all that we had told him. And they both rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And he built there an altar to the Lord, who had delivered him, and who was making him rejoice in the land of his sojourning. And he celebrated a festival of joy in this month 7 days, near the altar which he had built at the well of the oath. And he built booths for himself and for his servants on this festival, and he was the first to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles on the earth. And during these 7 days he brought each day to the altar a burnt offering to the Lord, 2 oxen, 2 rams, 7 sheep, 1 he-goat for a sin offering, that he might atone thereby for himself and for his seed. And as a thank offering, 7 rams, 7 kids, 7 sheep, and 7 he-goats, and their fruit offerings, and their drink offerings, and he burnt all the fat thereof on the altar, a chosen offering unto the Lord for a sweet-smelling savor. And morning and evening he burnt fragrant substances, frankincense and galbanum, and stacte, and nard, and myrrh, and spice, and costum. All these 7 he offered, crushed, mixed together in equal parts, and pure. And he celebrated this feast during the 7 days, rejoicing with all his heart and with all his soul, he and all those who were in his house. And there was no stranger with him, nor any that was uncircumcised. And he blessed his Creator, who had created him in his generation. For he had created him according to his good pleasure. For he knew and perceived that from him would arise the plant of righteousness for the eternal generations, and from a holy seed, so that it should become like him who had made all things. And he blessed and rejoiced, and he called the name of the festival of the Lord, a joy acceptable to the Most High. And we blessed him forever, and all his seed after him throughout all the generations of the earth, because he celebrated this festival in its season according to the testimony of the heavenly tablets. For this reason, it is ordained on the heavenly tablets concerning Israel that they should celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days with joy in the 7th month, acceptable before the Lord, a statute forever throughout their generations every year. And to this there is no limit of days, for it is ordained forever regarding Israel that they should celebrate it, and dwell in booths, and set wreaths upon their heads, and take leafy boughs and willows from the brook. And Abraham took branches of palm trees and the fruit of goodly trees, and every day going round the altar with the branches 7 times a day. In the morning he praised and gave thanks to his God for all things in joy.
Chapter 17. And in the 1st year of the 5th week, Isaac was weaned in this Jubilee. And Abraham made a great banquet in the 3rd month, on the day his son Isaac was weaned. And Ishmael, the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, was before the face of Abraham his father in his place. And Abraham rejoiced and blessed God because he had seen his sons and had not died childless. And he remembered the words which he had spoken to him on the day on which Lot had parted from him. And he rejoiced because the Lord had given him seed upon the earth to inherit the earth. And he blessed with all his mouth the Creator of all things. And Sarah saw Ishmael playing and dancing, and Abraham rejoicing with great joy. And she became jealous of Ishmael and said to Abraham, "Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman will not be heir with my son, Isaac. And the thing was grievous in Abraham's sight because of his maidservant and because of his son, that he should drive them from him. And God said to Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the child and because of the bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken to her words and do them. For in Isaac shall thy name and seed be called. But as for the son of this bondwoman, I will make him a great nation, because he is of thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and placed them on the shoulders of Hagar and the child and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, and the water in the bottle was spent. And the child thirsted and was not able to go on and fell down. And his mother took him and cast him under an olive tree and went and sat her down over against him at the distance of a bow shot, for she said, let me not see the death of my child. And as she sat, she wept. And an angel of God, one of the holy ones, said unto her, why weepest thou, Hagar? Arise, take the child, and hold him in thy hand, for God hath heard thy voice, and hath seen the child. And she opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled her bottle with water, and she gave her child to drink. And she arose and went towards the wilderness of Paran. And the child grew and became an archer, and God was with him. And his mother took him a wife from among the daughters of Egypt. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Nebaioth. For she said, the Lord was nigh to me when I called upon him. And it came to pass in the 7th week, in the 1st year thereof, in the 1st month, in this Jubilee, on the 12th of this month, there were voices in heaven regarding Abraham, and he was faithful in all that he had told him, and that he loved the Lord, and that in every affliction he was faithful. And the prince Mastema came and said before God, behold, Abraham loveth Isaac his son, and he delighteth in him above all things else. Bid him offer him as a burnt offering on the altar, and thou wilt see if he will do this command, and thou wilt know if he is faithful in everything wherein thou dost try him. And the Lord knew that Abraham was faithful in all his afflictions, for he had tried him through his country and with famine, and had tried him with the wealth of kings, and had tried him again through his wife, when she was torn from him, and with circumcision, and had tried him through Ishmael and Hagar, his maidservant, when he sent them away. And in everything wherein he had tried him, he was found faithful, and his soul was not impatient. And he was not slow to act, for he was faithful and a lover of the Lord.
Chapter 18. And God said to him, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, behold, here am I. And he said, take thy beloved son who thou lovest, even Isaac, and go up into the high country, and offer him on one of the mountains which I will point out to thee. And he rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took his 2 young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood of the burnt offering. And he went to the place on the 3rd day, and he saw the place afar off. And he came to a well of water, and he said to his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad shall go yonder, and when we have worshipped, we shall come again to you. And he took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it on Isaac his son, and he took him with his hand, and the fire and the knife, and they went both of them together to that place. And Isaac said to his father, Father. And he said, here am I, my son. And he said unto him, behold, the fire and the knife and the wood, but where's the sheep for the burnt offering, father? And he said, God will provide for himself a sheep for a burnt offering, my son. And he drew near to the place of the mount of God. And he built an altar, and he placed the wood on the altar, and bound Isaac his son, and placed him on the wood which was upon the altar, and stretched forth his hand to take the knife and slay Isaac his son. And I stood before him and before the prince Mastema, and the Lord said, bid him not to lay his hand on the lad, nor to do anything to him, for I have shown that he fears the Lord. And I called to him from heaven and said unto him, Abraham, Abraham. And he was terrified and said, Behold, here am I. And I said to him, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do anything to him. For now I have shown that thou fearest the Lord, and hast not withheld thy son, thy firstborn son, from me. And the prince Mastema was put to shame. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a ram caught by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the place, The Lord hath seen, so that it is said in the mount, The Lord hath seen. That is Mount Sion. And the Lord called Abraham by his name a second time from heaven, as he caused us to appear to speak to him in the name of the Lord. And he said, By myself I have sworn, saith the Lord, because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy beloved son, from me, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed, as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is on the seashore. And thy seed shall inherit the cities of its enemies. And in thy seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. And I have shown to all that thou art faithful unto me in all that I have said unto thee. Go in peace. And Abraham went to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt by the well of the oaks. And he celebrated this festival every year, 7 days with joy. And he called it the festival of the Lord, according to the 7 days during which he went and returned in peace. And accordingly, it has been ordained and written on the heavenly tablets regarding Israel and its seed, that they should observe this festival 7 days with the joy of festival.
Jubilees chapter 19. Okay. And in the first year of the first week in the 42nd Jubilee, Abraham returned and dwelt opposite Hebron, that is, Kirjath Arba, 2 weeks of years. And in the first year of the third week of this Jubilee, in the days of the life of Sarah were accomplished. And she died in Hebron. And Abram went to mourn over her and bury her, and we tried him to see if his spirit were patient and he were not indignant in the words of his mouth. And he was found patient in this, and was not disturbed. For in patience of spirit he conversed with the children of Heth, to the intent that they should give him a place in which to bury his dead. And the Lord gave him grace before all who saw him. And he besought in gentleness the sons of Heth, and they gave him the land of the double cave over against Mamre, that is, Hebron, for 400 pieces of silver. And they besought him, saying, We shall give it to thee for nothing. But he would not take it from their hands for nothing, for he gave the price of the place, with the money in full, and he bowed down before them twice. And after this, he buried his dead in the double cave. And all the days of the life of Sarah were 127 years, that is, 2 jubilees and 4 weeks in 1 year. These are the days of the years of the life of Sarah. This is the 10th trial wherewith Abraham was tried, and he was found faithful, patient in spirit. And he said not a single word regarding the rumor in the land, how that God had said that he would give it to him and his seed after him. And he begged a place there to bury his dead, for he was found faithful and was recorded on the heavenly tablets as the friend of God. And in the 4th year thereof, he took a wife for his son Isaac, and her name was Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Nahor, the brother of Abraham, the sister of Laban, and the daughter of Bethuel. And Bethuel was the son of Milcah, who was the wife of Nahor, the brother of Abraham. And Abraham took to himself a third wife, and her name was Keturah, from among the daughters of his household servants, for Hagar had died before Sarah. And she bare him 6 sons, Zimram, Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak and Shua, in the 2 weeks of years. And in the 6th week of the 2nd year thereof, Rebekah bare to Isaac 2 sons, Jacob and Esau. And Jacob was a smooth and upright man, and Esau was fierce, a man of the field, and hairy, and Jacob dwelt in tents. And the youths grew, and Jacob learned to write, but Esau did not learn, for he was a man of the field and a hunter, and he learnt war, and all his deeds were fierce. And Abraham loved Jacob, but Isaac loved Esau. And Abraham saw the deeds of Esau, and he knew that in Jacob should his name and seed be called. And he called Rebekah and gave commandment regarding Jacob, for he knew that she too loved Jacob more than Esau. And he said unto her, My daughter, watch over my son Jacob, for he shall be in my stead on the earth, and for a blessing in the midst of the children of men, and for the glory of the whole seed of Shem. For I know that the Lord will choose him to be a people for possession unto himself above all peoples that are upon the face of the earth. And behold, Isaac my son loves Esau more than Jacob. But I see that thou truly lovest Jacob, and still further to thy kindness to him. Add still further to thy kindness to him, and let thine eyes be upon him in love. For he shall be a blessing unto us on the earth from henceforth unto all generations of the earth. Let thy hands be strong, and let thy heart rejoice in thy son Jacob. For I have loved him far beyond all my sons, and he shall be blessed forever, and his seed shall fill the whole earth. If a man can number the sand of the earth, his seed also shall be numbered. And all the blessings wherewith the Lord hath blessed me and my seed shall belong to Jacob and his seed always. And in his seed shall my name be blessed, and the name of my father, Shem and Noab and Enoch and Mahalalel and Enos and Seth and Adam. And these shall serve to lay the foundations of heaven. To lay the foundations of the heaven, and to strengthen the earth, and to renew all the luminaries which are in the firmament. And he called Jacob before the eyes of Rebekah, and kissed him, and blessed him, and said, Jacob, my beloved son, whom my soul loveth, my God bless thee from above the firmament, and may he give thee all the blessings wherewith he blessed Adam and Enoch and Noah and Shem, and all the things of which he told me, and all the things which he promised to give me. May he cause to cleave to thee and to thy seed forever, according to the days of heaven above the earth. And the spirits of Mastema shall not rule over thee or over thy seed, to turn thee from the Lord, who is thy God from henceforth forever. And may the Lord God be a father to thee, and thou the firstborn son, and to the people always. Go in peace, my son. And they both went forth together from Abraham. And Rebekah loved Jacob with all her heart and with all her soul, very much more than Esau. But Isaac loved Esau much more than Jacob.
Chapter 20. And in the 42nd Jubilee, in the first year of the 7th week, Abraham called Ishmael and his 12 sons, and Isaac and his 2 sons, and the 6 sons of Keturah and their sons. And he commanded them that they should observe the way of the Lord, that they should work righteousness, and love each his neighbor, and act on this manner amongst all men, that they should each so walk with regard to them as to do judgment and righteousness on the earth, that they should circumcise their sons according to the covenant which he had made with them, and not deviate to the right hand or the left of all the paths which the Lord had commanded us, and that we should keep ourselves from all fornication and uncleanness, and renounce from amongst us all fornication and uncleanness. And if any woman or maid commit fornication amongst you, burn her with fire, and let them not commit fornication with her after their eyes and their heart, and let them not take to themselves wives from the daughters of Canaan, for the seed of Canaan will be rooted out of the land. And he told them of the judgment of the giants and the judgment of the Sodomites, how they had been judged on account of their wickedness, and had died on account of their fornication and uncleanness and mutual corruption through fornication. And guard yourselves from all fornication and uncleanness, and from all pollution of sin, lest you make our name a curse, and your whole life a hissing, and all your sons be destroyed by the sword, and you become accursed like Sodom, and all your remnant as the sons of Gomorrah. I implore you, my sons, love the God of heaven, and cleave ye to all his commandments, and walk not after their idols and after their uncleannesses, and make not for yourselves molten or graven gods, for they are vanity, and there is no spirit in them, for they are work of men's hands. and all who trust in them trust in nothing. Serve them not, nor worship them, but serve ye the Most High God, and worship him continually, and hope for his countenance always, and work uprightness and righteousness before him, that he may have pleasure in you and grant you his mercy, and send rain upon you morning and evening, and bless all your works which ye have wrought upon the earth, and bless thy bread and thy water, and bless the fruit of thy womb, and the fruit of thy land, and the herds of thy cattle, and the flocks of thy sheep. And ye will be for a blessing on the earth, and all the nations of the earth will desire you, and bless your sons in my name, that they may be blessed as I am. And he gave to Ishmael and to his sons, and to the sons of Keturah gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, and he gave everything to Isaac his son. And Ishmael and his sons, and the sons of Keturah and their sons, went together and dwelt from Paran to the entering in of Babylon, in all the land which is towards the east, facing the desert. And these mingled with each other, and their name was called Arabs and Ishmaelites.
Well, let's go back to 16. Welcome, Lynn. I don't know how you were all invisible at the beginning.
My super secret powers.
All right, so 16. We have Sodom and Gomorrah get wiped out. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Isaac was born on the festival of the first fruits of the harvest.
Ah, look at that.
Look at that. I didn't even read with you guys, and look at that. Thank you, Abba. Cool.
Yep. And I like the way it makes note that Isaac was the first person to be circumcised on the 8th day. First person covered in that. That, very interesting.
Huh.
Pretty interesting when I can use my big head to hide my wife. That. So this, let's see here. There was something else that jumped out to me in this, but if you have something, go ahead and let her rip. I'm going to look for it real quick. It might be in the next chapter. Okay, you have anything else for 16?
Well, he was first to celebrate Sukkot.
Actually, doesn't it say the first on earth to celebrate Sukkot? What verse is that?
It's 21.
21, and it does say on earth, first on earth to celebrate Sukkot.
Huh. So that is making me think it's a reinforcement to me of nothing new under the sun. It's already been above the sun, which is why they have to destroy the concept of sun and moon being in the firmament with something above them. Right? So where did the technology of the fallen angels come from? Above the sun, right? Now, with this, you can look at the rebuke that was given to John when he worships the angel. And the angel tells him, "See that thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant." Who has what? Who does what? Keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus. Huh.
Huh.
Which comes up again. Okay. Anything else for 16?
So it does happen in the spiritual first, because it's all happening in the spiritual, and then it comes down to the earth.
Seems to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to 17. That so 17. We have the bondmaid get kicked out. Is this it? Yeah. You know what? Thanks for the sun, but get out. Here's a bottle of water.
Yeah, and he wasn't a little tiny boy.
No.
Because he was what, like 14 years older than Isaac. And then this was the weaning celebration. What happened when he was Isaac was about what, 3 or 4, whatever. He was not a baby. So Ishmael was like 17-ish at least.
17 Ishmael. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. So we got this, and then look at here comes that prince of the air, the Prince Mestima, tempting God again against Abraham. Well, why don't you tell him to sacrifice Isaac, huh? Now it's interesting because in Jubilees it says Isaac and Ishmael were contending with each other. They're adults at this point in time too. And Isaac said, I would gladly give my life as a sacrifice. And it says, what does it say? The adversary or Satan overheard. So not that this contradicts, I don't think it does, but
This falls into watch for idle words. No,
Yep.
you know.
You were going to say something, Lynn?
I was going to say, it's interesting in Jubilees, they're actually naming these entities. Whereas like in the rest of the canon, it's always Satan, you know. But here we have their actual names.
Yep. If you're so inclined, David Carrico's got a study called The Five Satans.
It's very good.
Yep. And that very interesting. And I think he makes a very good case for everything the Western Church says, oh, that's just another name for the devil. No, I think that's a different entity. I really do. So, but people going to keep blinders on until Abba removes them. Excuse me. Anything else jump out at you for 17? Is that where we are? Yeah, 17. I like that it also lists off the trials and afflictions that Abraham was going through. And then later on, it numbers them off as well. So let's go to 18. This pretty much focuses on just the sacrifice session where he's told not to sacrifice Isaac. And again, I'm going to bring it up. He took in his hand the fire and the knife and the kindling. So they had something back then. They had something that would light a fire. To be able to carry the fire in your hand. I mean, there's stuff that even in medieval times they had where they could carry coals a long distance and get a fire started. Starting fire from scratch is hard work. I don't care who you are. Unless you got a lighter.
magnesium and a flint.
Yeah. Fat wood. People like that. Okay, so 18. What else is in 18 besides the he takes the fire with him?
Okay. Jonathan, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. When it gets into this point when he's getting ready to sacrifice. All right. There was a time when Dee called me all excited because she would sit there and she was reading through in the Psalms on, I think it's around Psalms 20 or something like, I can't remember which one it is. But the phrase that there is a very popular hymn about how the deer pants for the water. And she goes, Glenna, she goes, it's not really deer, it's ram. And I went, oh my gosh. I go, do you understand? This makes sense. The ram pants for the water. I go, I go, the ram that was caught in the thicket, the one that was created at the beginning of time to step forward as the sacrifice instead of Isaac, you know? And then, okay, all right, let's face it. Okay, we have Passover falling under the sign of the ram. Okay, I mean, we've got, we have the gospel, in the constellations. But I mean, the implication on that, and I go, now that makes so much more sense. That ram was the one that was caught in the thicket. It pants for the water. He was created, yeah, just for that.
The sky is divided into 12 parts into those constellations. Where you run into problems is people turning it from astronomy into astrology and saying, it controls every action I ever do. You all know who I'm talking about. And it's funny because it seems like most of them either wear a scorpion or a bull and then say, I can't help it. See my bull? Anyways.
It's funny. I was married to one of each.
Okay, and another thing about this is like a foreshadowing of the Passover as well, and the crucifixion, because our Savior, even though he's called the Lamb of God, he was a man, so he was the ram when he was crucified.
So Stell says that.
Yes, but he also called his grown adult followers little children. Okay, let's go to 19. 19. There we go. And here we have more about how, it says not indignant, but his patience. Abraham's patient, and he also, it's like he's faithful. He understands these are things that have to come to pass, and he may not enjoy it, but he puts up with it. Not that he has a choice, but he handles it gracefully. Talking about Sarah dying.
Something that we don't get in these, but you can read in the Apocalypse of Abraham, or the Testament of Abraham, I think it's the Apocalypse, where he was given a vision of everything. that was going to happen prior to this. But back into what we've got here in verse 9, where it says that he is put on the heavenly tablets as the friend of God. And you find that quoted in James 2:23.
That Abraham was a friend of God.
Now, also with that, we have Yeshua, Jesus, saying, a man has no greater gift than he lays down his life for his friends. Okay. Just chew on that one. What else do we have? We got a pretty big jump. I mean, it's like real rapid succession. It goes from Sarah dying, and then all of a sudden, Isaac's got a wife and children everywhere, and well, a couple of children. And then Abraham's talking to Rebecca, saying, it's going to be through Jacob. Jacob, he's the one. Don't let that boy of mine give it to Esau. That's paraphrased, but it's about the same length summary that we have here, too.
Okay. In verse 13, when it's talking about how Jacob dwelt in tents, there's like some extra meaning to that because of the reference to tents, meaning kind of like a student of the scriptures, of the ways of studying Yahweh's ways.
The tabernacle was a big tent. Where they kept the Ark of the Covenant. Yep. Yeah, and also says he was educated. Which brings me back to Joseph, right? The favored son, the son of my old age. Brings me back that we haven't read about yet. And everything else we read. Right? That's part of the reason he found favor in Potiphar's house. Is he was smart. He could wheel and deal.
Yep, he could read and write.
Yep, he understood value. He understood all the things. And he was probably a quick student, caught on fast because Abba was preparing him.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, let's go. Anything else for 19? No? Okay, let's go to 20. 20. It's after 19, but before 21.
But, okay, so my question is, so you're going to burn up the woman with fire, but what about the men that committed the fornication with her?
When it gets to the law, they're both supposed to be. Right?
Right, because it doesn't say anything about that. And I thought, wait, that's one-sided. Okay, so when it gets to the law,
okay, go ahead, GR. What were you going to say?
Okay. In the Torah, the woman that's caught in adultery, she's just a regular woman. She's the one that's stoned. It was the ones that were the daughters of the priests that were to be burned if they were caught fornicating.
in the law,
Under, right, like in Levitical law, that's what you're saying?
yes.
Okay. Excuse me.
And that's why Tamar, that's why David said that she was to be burned, because she was the daughter of a priest. She was a daughter of Melchizedek.
Mhm.
So neither of you can hear that weird feedback when it happens?
I can hear that sound like submarine.
It sounds like space horses. Okay. Anyways, basically most of
Okay.
this is a recount of a praise for everything he's been brought through. Most of this chapter.
Mhm.
Right? What he's telling all of the sons, right? Sons of Ishmael, sons of Isaac, sons of Keturah. Now, this was something that I found interesting in what he's telling them, that other people say, no, you guys can do whatever you want. That's only for us to keep that. But he's telling all his descendants here, not just the descendants of Isaac and Jacob.
Mhm.
He's telling everybody that is his descendant. Excuse me. Right? What does it say? All fornication and uncleanness. Don't deviate from the ways of the Lord, right? To the right or to the left. And don't take wives from the daughters of Canaan. Those are giants.
Unclean, unclean.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for 20?
Oh, tells us right there in verse 13 who the Arabs and the Ishmaelites are and where
Yep.
they came. Mhm.
Yep. And the word Arab in the Hebrew means mingled or dark.
Really? Oh,
Fancy
the
that.
importance of waiting.
It's real close to the word raven also. I forget what the word raven is, though.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Word. That. Okay. Any other general observations?
The sky's pretty blue today.
It is here too. I thought I saw some sky graffiti earlier, but I don't now. It's very blue at the moment.
There's your general observation for the day.
Right? Okay. Well, thank you for reading, Glenna. Thank you for reading, Lynn. And thanks for being here, everybody. The Lord blesses you well. Remember to love him, even if you don't understand what's going on. He'll show you eventually.
Mhm.
So, like, share, subscribe. If this has helped you, like it. Share it. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Ring the bell. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Ring the thing. Okay. Everybody, love you all. We'll talk to you very soon. Bye.
Bye.